Hi everyone, welcome to my stream. Today I am going to continue making the Zelda Zonia dress that I started yesterday. So the only thing that I did off camera was I took apart the pieces that I had put together wrong and I re-stitched them together, and I stitched on, this is the front part. It goes over the piece that I already made. So these pieces, I stitched all of these 4 pieces on the top and then all of these pieces on the bottom. So these pieces here, this huge piece here will be gathered down to the lining. So on this, it's this piece here, these 2 pieces. All right, so the next step that I'm going to do is I've already pressed the seams open and everything. So you can see I already pressed all the seams open here. Everything looks nice, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a gathering stitch along the top here so that I can gather it down and put it on the lining. I'm just gonna check my instructions and make sure there's nothing that I'm forgetting to do. So here I'm pressing down the seam allowance on this part of the bodice so that it is pressed down and folded over against the zipper. So the next step was to put in a gathering stitch across the top of this bodice piece in order to gather it down so that it fits nicely over the lining, because it's a little bit loose because it's supposed to look like a second layer. So I did that, and then I think that at this point I realized that I had put it in without adjusting the stitch length, so I had to take that out and then put another gathering stitch in order to be able to gather it down, because if you don't have it at the right stitch length, you can't pull on the gathering threads to actually make it gather down. So here I'm putting in that new gathering stitch because I realized that the other gathering stitch was too tight and I was not able to gather it down. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to gather it down so that it fits on top of the lining next. So the next thing that I'm doing here is stitching down that outer piece onto the lining. So I've already gathered it down, pinned it in place, and now I am going to stitch it down very carefully so that all the gathers are even and that it will look good once it is folded back over, because this is a part of the dress that will actually show on the outside, just the top part. So here I'm understitching so that piece will stay where it's supposed to, so the lining piece will stay on the inside and the outer piece will stay on the outside, and it will make it lay nice and flat. So I'm also adjusting where the boning pieces are in order to avoid stitching over them and breaking my needle. So I'm doing that, and then I will iron it flat. Oh, I was like, why is that sticking down? It's like a piece of boning. They're sticking out the bottom. I don't think this is gonna fit on me. It fits, it's just that it's very, very tight. So that's what it looks like. All right, let's see. What the next step is. So the next step is for the skirt piece. So I'm going to put this one off to the side because I don't need this right this second. So skirt pieces, skirt piece. Skip ahead for the green one. That's something else. We don't have to do that with this one because that's for the other one. This is it. Now we're going to drape the pleats. I'm going to mark them first because it says to do the rolled hem is the next step. But if I don't mark them, I won't know where they go. So, and you can see these pleats have to be folded this way on these. So here you can see that I'm marking my pleats and then I'm going to iron them into place. So I have them all set so that I can pin them and then stitch them down. See that it stacks nicely there. If I'd have done it any other way, it wouldn't have worked. So I'm just going to pin these pleats in place. So here's my pleats. I just have to do the same thing on the other side and then make the narrow hem. So here I'm just basting those pleats into place within the seam allowance so that they don't move around and I don't lose the pleats. Here I'm creating the narrow hem. I'm just ironing it down over twice, probably like 1/4 of an inch each, and then I'm gonna go ahead and stitch that into place. But it's much easier to stitch it once it's ironed in place, and then you don't have to worry about pinning it. So I do that first, and then I stitch it down, and then I move on to the next step. So here I'm just sewing that hem into place. Let's see what the next instructions say in my giant book of instructions. Did that already. Did that a little backwards, but that's for that. For Zelda. So because she has only one skirt piece, so it's similar to the burgundy skirt without the gathering. Place right sides of the lining hem to the wrong side of the... I think I questioned, I was like, huh? When I did this the last time. So, wrong side of the top of the skirt. So, I think that's because then you lap it over. You lap the outer layer over. Notch close to the center. There's a notch close to the center front. Line up each side of the green skirt with it. Line up the center back and the notch on the skirt to the side seam. Let's see if I can figure this out. Okay. So here you can see I'm lining up those two pieces, the bottom of the skirt to the lining piece, and I honestly don't remember how I did it, but I know it was a weird construction method, and at first I thought that it was not going to fit, but it does end up fitting almost perfectly along that seam line. So first I pin it in place and make sure everything is matching, all of the seam lines are matching, and then I go ahead and stitch it down. And then it has you lap that front piece over. So it's kind of backwards in construction because it's not going to be seen because there's another dress over the top of it. So like normally what you would do on the inside with a lining is you would stitch the front piece and the bodice piece to the skirt piece, and then you would stitch the lining over the skirt and the bodice seam on the inside, but this has you do it on the outside because you're not going to see it anyway. So it was a kind of confusing construction method, but it ended up all working out in the end. I'm just laughing at one of my cats. This is a box over here that I got from Mood Fabrics because I bought fabric for a skirt and some other things that I was making. And my cat is in it. And he's not a little cat. He's quite a large cat, so he's fitting in that box. It's kind of funny. I have to be really careful when I'm back stitching here because the zipper is right here and that will absolutely break my needle. If I back stitch over the zipper, that will be really tragic. Let me get my pin thing. And this is not really designed for pins. This is actually a tool thing that I just bought from the store and use my pins in because it has a really strong magnet and it keeps them in there. So here I'm just stitching those two pieces together. I just before trimmed down all of the boning so that I wouldn't go over it with the needle because I'm pretty sure that would also break a needle. So I'm just stitching this piece in place and making sure that I'm not hitting any of the boning when I am stitching it down. This is the lining layer. This is the outside. And then this here is the outside of the skirt part. So this is the inside of it. This is the outside. So I think the next part is to press it up and the waistband up and then top stitch the other piece down. From here, we can finish the dress by sewing the outer layer of the bodice in a similar way that you would a normal finishing layer. So you press under the seam allowance along the bottom, all along the center front. Top of the seam, fold down the burgundy. I don't have burgundy. So she will have a little extra ease. You can create a little pleat. Okay, so I'm back on because I didn't realize that my stream disconnected and I lost the stream or lost whatever. I'm having issues with the internet right now. Sometimes it just lags out really bad. So all I did while I was off was fold under the seam allowance of this front piece here, like you would for a lining on the inside, but this is going to be on the outside. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stitch all the way around it, top stitch or hand stitch, depending, because let me see what it says here. So she says to sew the center, front, and hem of the bodice, use a combination of machine and hand stitching. If this is too bulky for your machine, you can sew it by hand. Note that none of this will be seen once the costume is finished, so use that knowledge as you wish. So basically, you can top stitch it all down, which was, cats are going nuts, which was what I did with the mock-up, and as she says, it's not going to be seen, so it doesn't matter. I just top stitched all the way along the bottom there on the mock-up. It's going next to the zipper. I don't want to get my zipper foot out. If I have to, I will. It says to make like a little pleat on this part here to make it look like it's layers, so I'm going to try and make that happen. But this zipper is kind of Big and bulky. You being a good boy? Say hi to the people. Say hi. Oh, look at you. I'm so handsome. What was that? Somebody made something go crash, boom. Hi, nightmares. This is my little void. Oh, you're purring. He's a good boy. Are you my good boy? You have fur on your face. I mean, obviously you have fur on your face. I'm talking to Nightmare. Hi, baby bear. You gonna sit there for a minute? Turn the camera just a little bit. So here I'm just stitching down with a top stitch all the way around where the zipper is and along the front. And, you know, we have a brief interlude with Nightmare snuggles, of course, because Nightmare is always demanding and always wants his snuggles. He's such a cute little boy, though. Okay. No! Oh no. Wait. Ah, I just ran out of bobbin thread. Excellent. I guess I was playing bobbin chicken. But I didn't know it because I didn't know the bobbin thread was about to run out. Well, that worked. It's done over here, so let me shake it out. I'll probably probably a couple places that I'm going to have to go. Why won't you go in? Oh. And hand stitch down because I think the zipper is having a hard time going over it. So here it is. Of course, it's not going to fit me quite right with my clothes on, but you can kind of get an idea of what it looks like. This is just the underdress, and then I have a skirt that I have to make out of the same fabric. But this is like a really good fabric for this because it's really drapey, flowy. I think it looks good. I'm super excited to see what it looks like the final result. I had to pleat one side of this here because it ended up being a little too big. Like over here, it ended up having too much fabric on this top. I think I made this one in the bigger size, but the under part I did not make in the bigger size. I honestly don't remember. So, however, I mean, this is not going to be seen, so I'm not really all that concerned. You might see this, and you're going to see like this portion, and the back here will drape down, just like you can see in this picture that I have of this statue of her. That's exactly how it's going to look. So this is just going to be underneath. Okay. So I think the next step is going to be for me to make the underskirt. Let me just put my microphone back on. Oh, overdress. Honestly, I think I'm gonna skip the overdress for right now and do the other dress, the underdress, which I already interfaced the piece for the waistband. What's the matter? Come here. What is this? No, nothing. Okay. Come here. Oh, hello, babies. Hello, Mr. Baby. Mr. Baby Bear, hello. Can I have this though? Can I have your butt off of this? Everywhere I try to put it, he wants to be. You are so stinking cute. I just can't. I just can't. No, I can't. I just can't. You're so stinking cute. What are you doing? No? You're just gonna take a nap there, huh? He says, I sure am. And there's nothing you can do about it. Okay. Got it. I need Nightmare. Hi. No. Are you my handsome boy? Yeah. This is my handsome boy. What are you doing, huh? You just gonna sleep here on my arm? Is that what you're gonna do? No, I'm not touching your belly. Don't worry. See, he'll kill me if I touch his belly. He'll just rip my face off. Right, Nightmare? We don't need to lick Mommy's fingers. That's yucky. You can groom yourself, sure. Right there. Right there. Yes. You look like such a little panther right now. My handsome boy. Spoiled rotten little brat, as Daddy likes to say. Cat legs. Cat legs. Cat legs. Touch the belly. Might kill me if I touch the belly. I guess sometimes he doesn't like it, but right now he's tolerating it. Uh-oh, uh-oh. You're gonna rip my face off. Easy, easy, easy. Give me my hand back. Don't do that. Hey, stop it. That's enough. I don't want you to get burned. Even though it's turned off. You being bad? Are you being bad? No. You like that, huh? Yeah. All right, Nightmare, I gotta get back to work. Yeah. Which means you need to get lost. You going? You leaving? Okay, bye. All right. So here I'm marking the darts and preparing to sew the skirt. It has just a front and a back piece, and there is 1 or 2 darts on each. I can't really remember, but it's not a complicated pattern. So this one is relatively easy. I just mark the darts, pin them, and then I go ahead and sew them. Okay guys, I'm actually gonna get off because my boyfriend is getting ready to make dinner, and that will be a lot of noise. Even though it's not up here, for some reason, everything carries in this house, and the microphone will definitely pick it up. So I'm gonna get off. I may decide to live stream Wednesday or Friday, and hopefully at that point I'll be able to finish this dress. I was planning on posting a video on Friday for a fall dress that I got, and it has like pumpkins on it. I'll show you the fabric. Hang on. So it looks like this. I have very little left, and I didn't even cut out all the pieces, so apparently I did not order enough of it. So I've ordered some more of that, and that'll come probably in, I don't know, I think it takes about a week. So I ordered that. So I can't make that, and then I have an old video that I edited from my son and when we went to the convention, which I can post, but it is quite a long video, so I don't know. It's not really fall related. That's the only thing, is I wanted to really post some fall stuff, especially because it's the first day, or it's the first week of October this week. So I don't know. I haven't decided if I want to post that video for Friday or not, or if I'm just gonna hold on to it. It has pictures from like the convention that we went to, where I dressed up as Aerith and my son dressed up as, oh my god, I just totally lost his name. Somebody from Resident Evil. I can't remember his name. Leon from Resident Evil. And I made the pants. It took me about a week, or I had a week and a half to finish them, and I think it took me all of that time, completely finish them and to get them to fit him correctly. So I'm thinking about posting that for Friday. I don't know if that's something that people would want to watch. It's kind of a long video. If I make it a little bit shorter, I'll have to go back and edit it, and I'm not sure if I want to do that. So I might just hold on to it, and I might just live stream on Friday instead to try to finish this dress. I haven't decided yet, but other than that, I do have some other fall stuff that I want to do. I have a bunch of stuff on my list, but I can't think of them off the top of my head, so. My son is saying keep sewing, but I'm not going to, because like I said, he's going to be making a whole bunch of noise downstairs, so Anyways, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next time that I live stream or in the next video that I post. If you have any suggestions on what you want me to make or things that you want to see, you can send them to me in the comments, or you can send me a message, whatever you guys want. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys later.